All I know is you better not be in such a sour mood.
It was a boring race.
Because we can't be doing that. We got to get positivity.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Hey man.
Hey, everybody who's not listening ever.
This is a joint proprietorship.
Whatever.
Or what is that called?
It's called I'm in charge, bitches.
Now I'm having the audio issues. There we go. I forget I can't touch my headphone cord at all.
Oh, really? I guess fuck that.
Catches out. So yeah, tell me about how you do what you want to do.
One, I do not believe that Alonso felt sad by taking the final point paying position from Russell. That's a lie, Alonso. That's a lie.
Did he say that?
Yes, he said that.
Alonso,
lying bastard.
I'm disappointed in you, buddy.
All right, so basically, one, not even the race. I'm going to throw this out here. So Lewis signed a 2-year extension on Saturday. Okay, so in my humble opinion, that basically means Bottas is done. They're not going to renew him. They're going to bring in Russell because this is obviously going to be essentially Hamilton's last 2 years with Mercedes. He might go somewhere else. He might not. He might retire. But this is definitely his last 2 years. And Mercedes would be stupid not to throw Russell in that seat so they can learn everything humanly possible from Lewis, especially with the rule changes next year. Because Lewis is quite handy dandy of taking, most of them are. Almost every F1 driver is kind of good at taking a car that might have been severely affected by rule changes and making it work. And you want to teach George that. Plus, George does have that ability to take a car that stinks. The Williams is not a good car and put it places where it's competitive for a little bit. It's, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's shown that. So I think Bottas is done. On top of that, Sunday, Toto, the Annihilator Wolf, did say that they will resolve the issue of the remaining contracts with Mercedes by summer. So sometime in the summer break. So Toto, the Annihilator Wolf, will probably make a decision. In my opinion, that means Russell's coming in next year. Valtteri's going to go somewhere else or nowhere or back home and look at his wife and say, you're still more successful than me, but I made more money. And, go from there. And then hopefully he'll have some biscuits and mustard. And you might actually see that in like an Audi in, somewhere in Germany or something. It'll be, Valtteri's biscuits or Valtteri's biscuit mustard, So hopefully he has a good job. But I just want to throw that out there real quick before I get into what I feel was an amusing ass race with lots of Checo fuck ups. Which is so should we get right down to the
No, we should get right down to the fact that the Annihilator is a great nickname. I really appreciate that. I annihilate things for a living, including all of my car's wearable parts because I'm racing my wife around the B roads all the time.
I ruin tabletops with my fist.
Tires, brakes. We put racing brake fluid for Forza B road racing. It is quite tiring, along with managing a top Formula One team.
Totally.
But also, I was watching Valtteri on the podium, and for some reason, the idea of mustard flavored champagne came in. What did you hear? I just want to drink some champagne. I just want to have some champagne right now. It's like, was it really stressful for you to beat Lewis and pick up P2,
right,
buddy?
Really?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Because Lewis ran over the curbs so aggressively he damaged his floor, and they told him don't fucking go near those curbs. And then he ran wide and ruined his floor some more.
I was doing that all last week in the LMP2. It's all good, Lewis. It's a larger floor to beat up. So
So I mean, it's like I just want to taste some champagne. I better and get some champagne.
Oh, the mustard champagne.
It
says Ferrari on it. I was hoping it would say mustard.
I mean, it's amazing. So, I don't know.
There was a lot of fun stuff. The topic of the day, though, is turn 4 in the penalties. All right, let's be honest here.
It is.
That's the most contentious thing. People are salty about it, but let me say. So of course we had Lando versus Checo.
Yep.
I didn't even put those two together. Lando Checo. If they get those two on a team at some point. That'll be legit. Lando Checo.
Brought to you by McCormick's.
So Lando versus Checo on that turn, lap 1, right? So Lando on the inside, Checo dives towards the outside, does not get wheel to wheel, does not get front wheels to front wheels gets halfway up his car maybe, but not front wheels to front wheels, right? And then Lando takes the full racing line. Checo has to go off into the gravel. 5-second penalty to Mr. Norris.
Right.
So and then a little while later, you've got Checo defending against old Charlie Leclerc, and Leclerc sends it down the outside. Gets front wheels to front wheels. Actually makes Checo contact him. He wasn't going to just give it up, right? He wasn't going to drive off. He was going to hang in tough there. We know Charlie's not afraid to bang some wheels. We've seen it with Verstappen.
Does it all the time.
Right?
He has no problem pushing somebody a little bit out and squeezing them.
Right. So he makes him contact him, right? And then Checo gets the penalty. And then on the same, and then pushes him off at turn 5, the next quarter, which you really don't want to be going around on the outside. That's way less advisable than trying it at turn 4.
Turn 4, you can pull it off. Turn 5, the only thing you're pulling off is an early race retirement.
I'll say that last week when I was really racing the Red Bull ring with the LMP2 on iRacing, you know what I was getting people with? I was getting a really good exit out of turn 3.
Right.
And then I'd put them under pressure, and then they'd go to defend to the inside. I'd kind of give them the dummy, and then pop outside,
pop out
into the braking zone. So then they would have this terrible exit, and then I could cross them over coming out of it.
That makes sense.
I was killing people with that. All you have to do really is to just have that good exit out of turn 3, and then sell the dummy into 4 to make them defend. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was my strategy for that corner. So I just saw there was a lot of guys that were fully going for it on the outside, and I wasn't gonna try that.
Yeah, do that.
But you know what, man? Here's my thing about it.
Okay,
it was consistent.
Yes.
Holy shit, it was consistent.
It was consistent,
and
so. Yes.
If it's the same for everybody, is there really anything to complain about?
No.
You can say that you want they should let them race. Yes. And I think that they should. But first, we must get consistent.
Right. And this is my thing. Yes, you can have an argument and say, did Lando really deserve a 5-second penalty? And I will honestly, straight out of all 3 penalties, I think that's the weakest one. To sit there and say, hey, you know what? And it's the weakest one. I didn't say you didn't deserve it. I said it's the weakest one. It's the weakest argument.
Yeah.
But they were consistent. They looked at it, and they basically looked at the same criteria throughout and said, hey, nobody had a clear advantage. You're supposed to leave a car's length and, car's width, blah, 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 blah. And that's what they did. And that's what the stewards did. They did. It was consistency. Did they let them race? Yes, actually, they did let them race. Because, the only reason why those penalties came about is because they looked at them and said, okay, well, that's kind of like fucked up. You're causing an issue. You're causing a problem. Lando on the other side, it's a weaker argument to say that Lando was causing a problem by basically pushing a stupid move by Checo.
Especially on lap 1.
Yes. I mean,
they're not going to have the tires are not warmed up. Car's full of fuel. And everybody's all packed together.
Yeah.
So you have to, I think you got to leave a little bit more lenient.
You have to, and they usually do on, lap 1. So, to me, It's consistency. It's what everybody's been bitching about for years, that they're not consistent, and they were very consistent here. And truth be told, they're very consistent with Checo, because he tried twice to do the outside moves and he got fucking burned every single time. And they said, okay, what does it take for this asshole to learn that you're not going to do that? Hey, I guess it took 2 penalties. On the flip side of that, if you look at some of the team principles, basically, Horner basically said Lando didn't deserve a penalty. Hey, hats off to you.
Yeah.
For saying that. Okay, basically sitting there saying the reason why I got a penalty because my fucking driver was an idiot trying to pass on the outside on turn 4. not once, but 3 fucking times. Yes, it's a nice thing to say, but I'm very, I saw that and I was like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I saw that and I was like, there's got to be a penalty, even though I knew it was weak. I go, there has to be a penalty here, because they've always said they want a consistency. And one of the things they've been looking at is shutting somebody down because you're going to get past or whatever bullshit's going to happen. You're trying to cause a problem to get an advantage, which has been happening. And it has for years. You have some drivers that make an unwise move. They make it stick. They're almost causing the other driver to create the penalty. It happens in every sport. I mean, sometimes it's very tactical. In F1, there is a difference. A lot of people link it up to football/soccer. We'll call it football because it is. That you make a tactical foul.
Oh, boy, it's coming home.
Exactly. You make a tactical foul. I mean, the team who I've supported all my life, Manchester City, which is much better than Manchester United, because Manchester United are full of criminals, because they're all from Salford, which is just a big criminal fucking empire of assholes. They have been accused for years, and I fully admit they will foul to kill the advantage. Okay? It happens. Every team does it. Okay, sometimes they get caught out on it. Sometimes they don't. And
in the footy, it stops. It serves to it stops the
play.
It stops the game and makes them free kick.
Makes them free kick, and if you do it right, a free kick before the halfway line on your opposition side of the field is this.
By the way,
gives a shit.
This is very far off. But did you see Messi?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy. Mm-hmm. Guys, if you don't give a fuck about soccer, look, I get it.
That's fine.
I love racing too, but just in terms of human performance, you got to see this. Messi was playing in the Copa America against Ecuador.
Yes.
Argentina versus Ecuador. Messi, of course, being Argentinian, and he got a free kick on the edge of the penalty box. That was basically a penalty kick.
Yes.
How can you not? I mean, that's the greatest soccer player of all time right there.
Yes.
People will say, Pele, no, man, that dude is unbelievable.
Pele in his period. Yes. Yeah.
Check that out if you haven't seen it. Because I just know that me and Terry we get into soccer. So I wanted to just throw it out there.
But I mean, all teams do. They all sports kind of do something like this. And just to clarify, we're not talking about a player taking a dive. That's completely different. That's a player trying to take a dive in the penalty area to get a penalty. That's not tactical fouling. That's called bullshit. So I like the consistency of it. I knew Lando was going to get a penalty. I didn't agree with it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I totally agree that Lando should have got a penalty. I think they should have looked at it and maybe got on the radio and say, knock that shit off. But whatever. I'm not there. I'm not a steward. And they're also governed by rules, which a lot of people seem to forget that there's a rule book. So lots of times when they look at things, they only have 2 choices. They say no further action needed, racing incident, or it's going to be a penalty. So give them hats off for being consistent and not sitting there going, well, it's Lando and Checo and it's lap 4 and they're kind of fighting for things that it was exciting to see. So it's a racing incident. And then later in the race when Checo was all the way down and just, didn't go, oh, well, no, that's crap because it's midfield bullshit. Nobody cares. 5-second penalty. They didn't do that. They looked at it very simply and said, all these examples are pretty much the same. It's a 5-second penalty throughout. So consistency. Yes, I'm happy. Will it apply down the road in other races when things like this happen? Probably, and hopefully it does. But I will say another thing real quick, because I went over to John's to watch it, by the way, a friend of ours, if nobody here really cares. And I was talking to Andrew, and basically he said they need to put gravel traps on every single track, because if this is what we get, it's fucking amazing. And he's right. It's nice to have gravel traps because you get things like this where if there was a concrete runoff, it would have been a much different thing. It would have been, he would have just ran off and it's like, oh, well, you didn't squeeze me out, and I'm just going to go over here and go deal with it. With the gravel trap, it gets you a little bit more racing. It gets you a little bit more aggressive where, I'm going to do this because I have to. I'm going to kind of move in. So, hey, it's what it is. So, in my opinion, it's a humble opinion, is consistency was perfect. Lando's was the less egregious one, but it's still got, if I was being a steward, I would have gave him a penalty. If I was being a fan, then I would not give anybody a penalty, because I want to see this kind of shit and kind of laugh when they fuck up, because, it's kind of what you do. To me, Checo screwing up helps my driver, which is Hamilton, because I am a Hamilton fan, at least try to get something better in position and kind of close the points gap. So as a fan, as a steward, I would give him penalties. So that's my take on that. It did make for an exciting race because Checo really had to haul some ass to get up, and then it did cause 2 other penalties with his favorite penalty partner, Leclerc. I swear, those 2.
I love how hard Leclerc will rage on the radio.
Yes,
great.
It is great.
What do you think he called him? He said this guy. I know one time he said this guy's a fucking dick, man.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But he also
this guy's a fucking dick, and probably this guy's a son of a bitch or a son of a whore.
Oh, nice.
Probably. So. I mean, but cool. Charles is very Vettel-like in his responses to incidents. Not as aggressive as Vettel, as we all know. Vettel is the king of the red mist. The king. Oh, yeah. I mean, the king. Him
versus Hamilton at Baku under the safety car.
He brake checked me, that motherfucker. I'm gonna pull up next to him.
Sebastian's just driven into me
and wave my finger at him and then drive right into him. Honestly, I do see Vettel literally in downtown, like fucking Munich or fucking Stuttgart, in traffic in rush hour, and somebody like comes over without using a turn signal and cuts him off, just going, fuck. And just getting all fucking crazy and like rolling up to him and yanking his finger, and there's a red light. He gets out of his car and he starts and wheel bangs him. I mean, that's the thing. Vettel really is, he is induced by the red mist. That's what happens, is he loses focus and he gets mad. Charles does almost the same thing, but Charles is a very, to me, and when he does that, is a tactical way of being red misty. It's like, I'm gonna bang you back, but I'm not gonna, do the Vettel of the aggressive banging you back. If I get an opportunity to make it look like it's a racing incident, it's gonna fucking happen.
Oh yeah.
Which he loves to do. He's very NASCAR-ish. And very IndyCar-ish too, because IndyCar, forget it. Those assholes never forget. It doesn't matter. I swear to God. People go with NASCAR, those guys hold a grudge. No. They hold a grudge for a race. IndyCar drivers hold grudges for seasons. Like, you can literally have a NASCAR drive, an IndyCar driver who's a part-time driver who goes, who's only on a contract to like drive like the ovals, right? And pisses off, say Scott Dixon, pisses him off by does something, causes Scott Dixon not to finish, or, spins him and he's like, fuck you, I was in 7th place and I could have got the 4th and now I'm in 21st. And that temporary driver or reserve, whatever the hell you want to call him, part-time driver, Scott may not see him for an entire season or 2 seasons, and he comes back to drive, and Scott Dixon go, ho, fuckface is here. And
hello.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, it's my old friend.
I know you dirty kangaroo fucker. And no, they do. They are literally fucks. If they can't get you in that race, that moment, that day, they will get you again. And they will do it. And if they feel that how they got you back wasn't sufficient to how, in their opinion, you fucked them, it's a long, drawn out payback. It's, it's amazing.
My coming to reason with that IndyCar drivers are extremely petty was on iRacing with Simon Pagenaud and Lando Norris.
Yes.
just to connect it back to F1. So they were racing. So if you didn't know about this, they were racing at a not a full Indy 500, but maybe a half an Indy 500 or something like that. Indy cars at Indianapolis.
Right.
And Lando was Pagenaud was already too wide with, I think, Marcus Ericsson. Right. And Lando had the draft and he made it 3 wide coming into there. And I think you had Ericsson on the outside, Pagenaud in the middle, Lando on the inside. Right. And then Pagenaud kind of bumped into Ericsson on the outside. I think it was Ericsson, at least. For sure it was Lando and Simon Pagenaud. So he pits, right? I think he might even so he like spins out, wrecks, whatever. He pits. And he's going, and I don't know, it's weird. I don't know. It's like he's trying to hide it, but he wasn't. He was like, he said like a couple, they're like, oh, that's okay. They're like, his like spotter or whatever was like acting like everything's good. And he's like, yeah. Let's go get Lando. Let's go get Lando. And he comes out and then he fucking, of course, like pits out like 10 seconds in front of him and like slows down and like waits till like he goes to pass him and like reacts to his move. And intentionally wrecks him, and then he's like, I didn't see him.
Yes,
and that is so sorry.
And that's like, IndyCar grudges.
Like, fuck you, dude.
Right there.
Granted, that doesn't exactly prove your point because it was the same race, but it was my reasoning. I was like, these guys are extremely petty.
Extremely petty.
And it's not even an American thing. Look at this French guy just getting so salty.
Just like, it's amazing. So yes, F1 drivers do get salty, but in my opinion, they kind of get salty during the race, and that's really about it. And they love to get on the radio and call people sons of bitches. They love it. And you know who, honestly, the king of that is 100%. Come on, we all know Raikkonen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
When we go, the Iceman, he really doesn't talk on the radio.
He was very unemotional in that crash with Seb on the last lap, though.
Yes,
he was like, well, what happened there?
Yeah.
They're like, I think it was, no, I could see it was Seb, but I don't know.
Yeah, he basically said, what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah. Don't know what's wrong with that guy.
Yeah. So, getting back to that. So, that was the most controversial part of the actual race. The fun parts. What did you say that was the most of the penalties was the most controversial?
Yeah. To me, it's not because it's consistent. I don't care which way you call it.
Yes, it is consistent.
Apply it equally as you can, and I think they did.
Yeah, if we are going to have controversy, then that would be it. I would say the most exciting. I mean, I called it. I already knew Max was going to win that. It's just the way it is. I mean,
there's other controversy. The Red Bull is illegal. According to Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes has been saying that forever. And Red Bull says the Mercedes is illegal. They were doing that for the last 4 years too.
Of course.
I mean, all that is just to get the FIA to look at certain things that they want rulings on, which is so basically last year, Red Bull sat there and threw a hissy fit over DAS. Okay. So the dual axis steering and said, well, that's illegal. And the FIA said, no, it ain't. No, but then the FIA said, you can't use it again. So which one was it? But
no, that's not true. It was already put into the regs for the for this season, the 2021 season, that they weren't gonna was gonna be illegal.
They all do it. They all complain about something. I mean, hell, the year before that, Red Bull and Mercedes sat there and basically said, can we get real clarification on fuel flow, fuel percentage, fuel pressure, oil burn percentage? Where can you burn oil? Because Ferrari's doing that. Now, the only difference between the outcome of that one is the FIA basically said, oh, hey, it's in the rule book now, so no more dual axis, steering. Oh, hey, you know what? You can't have this flexible, lower T-bone fin right here, so blah, blah, blah. But in case of Ferrari, it was, yeah, we find them, and they won't do it again. Well, what were they doing? Yeah, we find them, but they won't do it again. Thanks, FIA, for making sure that the bullshit Ferrari, we are the oldest team in F1, privilege is not destroyed. Thank you very much for that.
I'll just say it's still not called Ferrari International Assistance for nothing.
No, exactly right. It is. But, Red Bull, they do that. Ferrari's doing it. I'm so sorry, but Mercedes doing it to get clear, defined definition on that flexible rear wing. That's what they want to know. Okay, because if they get that clear and defined, then either it creates a disadvantage for Red Bull next year, which is the plan, or they can get the green light to do, they might have developed something that is more flexible, and they want to go, well, if this is going to be allowed, we want it clear and defined, so next year no one can bitch at us. It's a game. That's what is F1's a real difference between things, because you can do all these things like that, and then other teams are going to get bitched because it's giving you an advantage. They're trying to do two things. They're trying to get it banned, or they're trying to get it clarified and the rules opened up more, or more gray area in the rule because they've developed something that they want to stick on the car. Yeah. So it's fine. It's all a game of bullshit. Just like the radio calls continually going like, my rear tires are fucked. These are all over. I have no rear end. These tires are burnt. I'm graining. Okay, and somehow
I know you're only talking about Lewis right there.
Yes, because the king of that,
Max hasn't even played those games.
The king is Lewis.
Yeah,
the king.
Everybody knows
the
that.
King, and they all fall for it.
Oh, I don't know about these tires, guys.
Yeah. So
I'm really struggling on these tires, guys.
I'm really struggling on these tires, but I've got fastest lap the 4 laps. After I made this announcement.
Yeah. I'm really struggling on these tires, but watch these purple sectors.
Yeah. I really, we're not going to be able to finish the race on these sets of tires. 25 laps later, hey, I want to thank everybody back to the factory. You guys are doing really good. I mean, that's what it is.
Thanks to all the boys at Brackley. We got to keep pushing.
It's because that's what it is. That's what it is. So they all do something. They all say something, and they do. So I'm not surprised by Mercedes coming out and basically kind of complaining. And it's way different from like the 70s where they would come out there and measure fucking cars with tape measures after the race. In case you're curious, that shit would happen all the time. Because honestly, a lot of the times, oh my God, F1, for all its grandeur and all its like, we're F1 and FIA and rule books and rule 61335.3 concerning how to kill children, all those things like that make them sound so like that. They are rampant cheaters. Holy shit, they're rampant cheaters. And if you're really curious about it, just go Google F1 cheating. And we're not talking like, well, you know what? We found a car that, had like ballast in it that was not enough and we disqualified the car. No, you'll read good shit like, they were using water and shot as ballast. And one team basically could not. I'll make it simple. When they're coming into the pit, you were allowed at the time to top off your ballast tanks with water because that's what they were doing. Well, they were putting lead shot in the fucking water. So what they were doing is the car was running light, but during the race, so the gas burns because you're allowed to refuel. They would top up the ballast tanks with water at the time, and they would put shot in it. So as the fuel burn went down, the car started getting heavy.
Right.
So we're not talking like one race cheating. We're talking season of cheating. F1 is notorious for that. So you look it up, it's great reads.
It's not even that it's necessarily cheating. It's just that anything that's not explicitly forbidden in the rules, they're going to try to use because
they will go after.
At the end of the day, it's an engineering challenge way more than it is a driving challenge. NASCAR and IndyCar and name your spec series is the closest that you're going to get, LMP2 racing, whatever, Super Formula, whatever it is the closest thing that you're going to get to, to true spec racing, and just like, hey, like we're just working with engines and shocks and, like very, simple, more simple components, not an entire car with all these like aero shit going on.
So with all that, it's a good read. So, so I'm not surprised by that. They all try to get an advantage, or they try to get another team's advantage taken away because it's not clarified in the rules, and all these things. And oil burn. Every single F1 team did oil burn. Every single one of them did oil burn. All of them. Mm-hmm. And then that was over the last at least 6 years. FIA every single year would re-clarify oil burn every single time. Okay, because you would have Mercedes going, well, what the hell is this bullshit that Red Bull's doing and now Ferrari's doing? They go, okay, guys, you can't do this. It has to be this percentage. And then Mercedes goes, thank you, fuckheads, because we've perfected this that does it at this percentage. And they would go do it. And then Red Bull and Ferrari's like, what the
yeah, somebody with a budget like Mercedes, and when cost caps are not like playing a big role, they have like all these resources to go like do these experiments on the side, and then prove out the concept and deploy them if they get confirmation that they're like a legal thing.
Right.
Like, while they look for these these statements and stuff from the FIA, they just go like, hey, Jeremy and Nigel, can you guys go work on this shit in the wind tunnel for us? And they're like, oh yeah. And then they go do it. And then they're like, and then they say that it's, they develop the whole thing, and then boom, if they can deploy it, then they do. So, your smaller teams are not going to be able to do stuff like that.
And that's why you got cost caps, but even then they're still going to be able to do it. So, with all that being said, so, we'll get back to the race. So, I mean, yes, Max winning. Fuck yes. I mean, we all know it. I think Max is well on his way to his first world championship.
Seems that way now, that they're not, especially. Yeah, I mean, what is the Red Bull Ring to you? Is it a low, medium, or high downforce track? I think it's medium to low.
It's a medium to low.
Yeah.
So
because you got pretty long straights, but you also have a few corners that like you can really use the downforce. Like
I mean, basically 3, 5, and 6.
5 and 6 are the big ones.
5 and 6 is that you need that downforce,
and then the last and really 8 and 9.
Yeah, and going into 9, so like 8's not so bad. Going into 9 is definitely, the sweeper. It's, you need it. Mm-hmm. So it is definitely to be super confusing. It's that low, medium to medium. Yeah. And it is, but it suits the Red Bull, the way that Red Bull's configured right now. And I think I'll bring up the point I made in a couple other podcasts is, Red Bull has they've hit that perfect compromise with the car of it will get them great results in qualifying without sacrificing great results in the race.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Mercedes is really struggling, because if you really look at it, and I will say this, I think in the qualifying, they kind of took the car and went, well, let's try and get a qualifying spec and qualify as high as we, that was the previous race. So the previous, the Austrian Grand Prix, whatever the fuck you want to call it,
this was Austrian. Last week was the
Styrian. So in that one, I think they said, okay, let's get the car qualified, and then we'll go from there. And I think this one, they looked at it and says, well, we need a race day car. So as long as we can qualify, and I think they didn't expect to qualify as low as they did. I think they expect to be second on, the grid. Let's try and get that race day car, because, they both qualified low, and look where they finished. I mean, if Lewis did not love the curbs so much in this race.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Do we get the podium of Verham bot instead of what we got this time if Lewis didn't crash over the curbs?
And I think if Lewis didn't crash over the curbs, it would have been a 1-2, a Max win, Lewis second.
Verham bot.
Yeah.
because
exactly.
I don't because Bottas was still faster than Lando.
Yes, he was. So that's what you get. And so, but Red Bull doesn't have to make that sacrifice right now, and they haven't had to make that sacrifice since, in my opinion, well, honestly, Baku. If it wasn't for tire, then that would have been it. And I think they hit that balance and went, okay, this is perfect. We have a car that on race day is going to get us a podium, no matter what. It's going to get us there, and it should get us a high podium, and it should get us a high starting position. And it wasn't intentional. It didn't sit there and go, this is what we need to do. It's not like, Christian Horner and the whole Red Bull engineering team and everybody went, okay, guys, this is the goal for this season. Balance the car perfectly so it gets us a pretty good pole and a pretty good race finish. They didn't plan that. When they were, that's what they were doing, and say, okay, let's try and get this, and kind of, we can get some points, we can get them this, and we'll see where we go. Get the car ready to do this. So each race trying to get it better and better, because they anticipated Mercedes to be a hell of a lot stronger than what they are. And Mercedes isn't, because of that simple rule change with the aero. So Mercedes is struggling, and I think Red Bull's looking and going, this is perfect, because this is what we were starting with. We wanted to do this so we could at least be in the fight going into the mid pack of the season, when we've got upgrades and all these things, to maybe we can put this at you and maybe squeeze something out of here.
Because the middle of the season, like towards the end of the Euro season, is typically when they start to fall off, when they get to tracks like Monza and Spa that are really low downforce.
Yes, and that's not going to happen this year, and because Mercedes is struggling so badly, and this is perfect for them, because they're just looking at going, holy shit! They just figured
out some way to make that car go really fast in a straight line, and just be sticky enough on the to compete with Mercedes. I don't know. It's almost amazing that it's taken this long, but I guess they really needed a rule set to. Hate to say it, it's kind of what Mercedes has been complaining about, they needed a rule set to give a little more advantage to the high rate cars,
right? And that's how it works.
That's the game, though.
Yes, that's the game.
They put the regulations out, and you have to engineer a car around it that's legal and is going to win races,
right? So. And that's the thing. So I mean, this one's a curveball, because normally there's a lot more than just one regulation saying do this, but they did this, and I don't blame them for doing it. I'm okay with it. And I do believe Red Bull just looked at this and went, okay. And now they're looking at going, this is fantastic, because what we did was not, this wasn't our attack plan. This was a piece of a plan to keep us competitive, to hopefully keep going and get at them. But now they're looking at us going, holy shit, this is perfect. This car is balanced for qualifying and racing. Mercedes is struggling. So Mercedes is making sacrifices on their car's performance based on where they want to try, where they think they can go with strategy, and it's not working, And so I think it's great. And I do believe Max is well on his way. I've called it. I said Max will be, the champion this year, and I've called it, and I'll stick by that. And yes, I am a Lewis Hamilton fan. I'm also a Ferrari fan. If anybody's curious, I will rip on Ferrari endlessly for their stupidity.
Dude, I'm the same way though. I support like Max and Red Bull primarily, but I also really like Fernando Alonso. I also like Carlos Sainz. I also like McLaren as a team. So,
that's the thing.
It's hard to say, it's I'm not like a pure anything for sure. So I did not think Red Bull was cool in the V8 days when Vettel was just stomping everyone left and right. And they just had, they had their car was amazing, and it was the top dog. Hey, did you notice how many bromances we got going on between the drivers this weekend?
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's bromance city out there.
It's like, springtime in full bloom out there.
Yeah, I think they might start just bust out some I don't know, some gay pornos or something right in front of the cameras.
I'm actually waiting for, like right after free practice too, or right after qualifying on Saturday, they all go out there and in the right there in the the field, and everybody has a picnic, and they're all like discussing, wow, I can't believe before you're my teammate that I thought you were the biggest piece of crap in the face of the earth, and good shit like that.
Everybody's just on small amounts of MDMA. They're just like, you know what, bro? I really just got to say that I love you. Yeah. But no, it's first there was you got Lewis. Such a great driver, Lando.
Yeah, I know.
And dude, did you see Lando could not stop himself cheesing in front of the cameras when they showed that to him. He's like, I love you, Lewis. He's like, think about it though. It's really cool for Lando because he's such a young dude, and he was racing go-karts when he was watching Lewis at McLaren, doing so well. Right. And he's kind of the resurgence of English dominant, an English guy dominating in F1. So,
exactly.
Probably safe to say that he was, somewhat of a hero to Lando growing up.
Oh yeah. And even the not well, unless you really follow F1 to a point where, because Lando and Russell are great friends. They have been for years.
Oh yeah,
for years.
Yeah, they're very very close in age. And
close in age.
They would know each other. They've been competing each other,
karting and everything. They're friends. They're lifelong friends. And then into that mix is like they know Leclerc. They've raced against Leclerc, so they know him. So they're all kind of friends. It's like you have the next generation of F1 drivers are all friends, not like casual friends. They're all friends who fucking play sim racing together.
Yep.
And all these things. So it makes for an interesting dynamic as these guys take over and the replacement Kimmies, end up like, hey, Lewis, so happy you were in Mercedes all these years and you don't want to have another contract with us. We called Alfa Romeo and they're more than happy to put you in their Raikkonen car. And you can go bitch at people like Raikkonen fucking does. But there's so many bromances. I mean, even the Ricardo like Ocon bromance is almost sickly. It's almost sickly.
I didn't even notice that one. What I noticed was George Russell and Alonso.
Oh my god!
After because first of all, Alonso we know what happened with him. We saw what happened with him in qualifying.
Yes,
held up by Vettel in the very last corner.
Yep,
and was raging harder than we've seen him rage in a while. He was pissed and
super pissed.
At least Vettel knew that he fucked up. He was like, "Hey, man, my bad,
my bad. Sorry about that. I thought I had enough troops in winter clothing. So, just saying.
Sorry, you guys didn't you didn't bring enough. You didn't supply the boys with enough down feathers. So,
really, really sorry. I didn't know the English radar was that good.
I really thought this would be done by Christmas.
Yes.
Oh
shit. So yes, I mean after the race, he was So
just to say that Alonso had to come through the field. He had a fast car, maybe not top 3 or 4 like you said.
But at least like top 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 or 6. Yeah, at least top 7, which is great for that for them in that car. But yeah, so he eventually got Russell for the last points paying position. And they had a nice hug after the race.
They did, and the supposedly he did because Alonso, and I do quote. I gotta find it right here.
That he was sorry about it.
So in a way, when I saw it was George, I felt a little bit sad. The battle had to be with him, Da, 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 da. I mean,
it's funny. Old Alonso is an interesting dude because I don't think young Alonso would ever be capping about not wanting to pass someone.
I mean,
he's
honestly,
just like, look, I have a job to do.
Young Alonso would have said this if somebody came up to him at the end of the race where he was in 11th and there's George Russell who has not got a Williams point yet and he's doing really well, and they go, Alonso, Fernando, how did you feel about passing George the closing laps of the race and denying him once again the ability to get world championship for his team, knowing that the last race had mechanical issues that probably would have gave him a point? Young Alonso would have said, fuck that guy. Next time, go faster.
Yeah. I have a job to do.
I have a job to do.
Excuse me, I have a job to do.
And he needs to go faster.
Maybe next time he goes faster. I don't know, but
hey, but older Alonso.
But can you? I was just thinking about like 05, 06. I am sorry, I had to pass Jarno or Fisichella.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't want to pass them. It was good result for the team, but I have to pass them.
Yeah, I mean, but the great thing is, yes, he said he kind of felt sorry, but this sums up exactly how he felt. It was very intense, unfortunately, for only 1 point, but it felt like it was the last lap of the championship for us. Which is basically, I feel sorry for the kid, but go faster next time.
Yeah. Hey, he had a good I think that Alpine was going pretty good.
That Alpine was going really good. It really, really was. So yeah, there's so many bromances out there. I mean, there are.
Yeah,
I mean,
and the interesting bit is that it's not just like teammates who are like a lot of times forced together to be like, oh, okay, act like you're happy for the cameras, boys. But it's like these it's these. You know what that was? I finally figured it out. It was a promo thing for Red Bull where they took it where all four of them,
right? Oh God,
Yuki,
really?
Pierre, Max,
Max,
Gecko, all went on like an Austrian countryside.
Oh
vacation.
My God!
So they're out. So Yuki and Pierre were out in the rowboat at one point. So anyway, these are like voluntary, like anarchist kind of bromances forming here across teams. So I like it.
I think it's good.
Good to see some wholesomeness in the paddock. Sometimes gets a little too serious, a little too
serious. Yes, it does sometimes get a little too serious and a little too stupid.
So
it is good to see. So overall, I mean, it was a very good race, and
very good compared to very poor last week. And you think so?
Well, because the reason why last week, because it was just, and I think part of it is because
Max was more dominant. There was never any question about him.
It really wasn't that. That's not it. What it was knowing last week that Lando was just gonna give up that spot because that's not his race. And this time he really didn't give up that spot because, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this one he raced. He's like, fuck it. And I think the team, McLaren, said, well, yeah, dude, you're right there. Just go, keep going. Even though our race is against Ferrari and, shit might happen, go. And that's what to me made it a better race because
that was the big question is like, if I use too much tire trying to fight Lewis, who's probably faster than me anyway, am I then going to hurt our battle with the main rival for the season, which is Ferrari? And Ferrari was looking pretty good. I think they were for this track, which is looking very good which is a more old school flowy kind of track rather than these kind of stop-starty tracks that they've been good on, like Monaco this year. So I think that battle will be interesting. I see that they're McLaren is on 141 points and Ferrari is on 122. So we have a spread of 19 points.
Yes.
Which I think the gap can come down. I don't know if Ferrari can overtake, but without some serious
some
issues.
real screw up shit
there has to be, some DNFs for McLaren in there. But Danny Rick, not showing up for Saturday, but doing a great job on Sunday.
Yes,
crawling his way through the field. I was glad to see that. I didn't realize because I was not giving him shit. You were last week, and I didn't correct you because I didn't realize that he was having mechanical issues out there.
Whatever.
Hey man, the car's it's better than a P13 car, and he's better than a P13 driver. So I figured it was something.
The only thing I can say is somebody who knows how to use a barbecue should be better than this. Period.
Is that an Outback reference?
Yes, it is.
Hey, we call them fucking prawns, don't fucking shrimp's your word. I don't know what a fucking shrimp is. I fucking put prawns on the barbie.
But yes, I mean, the reason why I'll say
a fucking dingo comes up and I kick him in the face and say, "These are my fucking prawns, bud."
Sit there and go, "You want a baby? It's over there. They got my prawns."
I got a couple babies in there you can have. But you stay away from my fucking prawns, mate.
And my fucking shitty Fosters in a big giant oil can. I mean, honestly, the only reason why I'll say the race is better is because, Lando was racing and it kind of made it exciting. And then Lewis running over curves makes it even more exciting because it's like you're destroying your car and it's fucking priceless.
That's what, you see a few cracks in the goat's frame there when he realizes that he does not have the best car of the day. No. He can and will push it to pass the limit and hurt the car. So he's not, I would not, like I said, we've talked about it plenty. Yes. I wouldn't really in good faith argue that Lewis is not the greatest driver of all time. But it just goes to show you that he's not when the car is not the optimal car on that track on that day, he will make mistakes.
Yeah. And I think it also brings this up too. It's like, a lot of times when, you may get people look at this and say, well, why didn't he just try to control the car and get the best finish he can? And then who knows what happens and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not the 1970s and not 1980s F1 anymore, where you can have multiple different teams win a race. So the model of, hey, you know what, as long as I get a good finish and get the points, then I have a chance of making a world championship. That doesn't exist no more because, frankly, you got to win. You got to win almost every single race. It's true. And this is how it works. So, given that, Lewis is going to push it way beyond, the edges because he needs to do that just to try to win no matter what. I got to try and win. But yes, there are cracks in the armor, but for the simple reason it's like you're pushing too hard sometimes, or you're pushing too hard in qualifying and you're making mistakes because you want to get a good position to at least know if I can maintain second place and hopefully mechanical issues happen and then I can be there. Yeah. So those things are starting, but all great drivers, and it's such a bullshit thing to say, the greatest drivers don't make mistakes. You fucking sure about that? Because every single great driver has made mistakes, every single fucking one of them. Every one of them.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. And the whole thing is, that's the thing. The thing about Lewis is he is able to find pace in a piece of shit. And he is. And he is. And on top of that, he's also able to find pace in a car that is past the line of stability. Yeah. That's his talent. And so he goes, well, he has a dominant car. Because that's what happens in F1s. You idiots have never watched F1. That's what happens in F1. Okay, again, it's not 1950s, 1960s, 1970s F1. It's fucking new F1. These teams spend billions of dollars to be dominant. This is what's going to happen. The thing is, sometimes they make a car that is very unstable. And the true talent of a driver, of class driver, world champion quality driver, is their ability to tame that car to the point where they know I can actually push it a little bit further than the craziness that it is now. Okay. Because if you want a great object lesson of it, and Mercedes is a terrible object lesson of it, is Red Bull. They have struggled with any type of driver that's able to handle that car until Max came along to make it sing, to make it perform. Okay, not taking anything away from Ricardo because he got victories out of that car, and he did. But they tweaked the car and everything is like Max came along, and this first race in that car he won. And that car develops and changes. So after, Daniel's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I've been here and I wanted to be the future. I want to go somewhere where I am the future of the team, not where I'm not the future of the team. I do never blame him for that. Some people go, well, he was scared to race Max. Yeah, and you're an asshole. So why don't you go race Max if you're big and fucking bad? They struggled to get a teammate for Max.
He doesn't tell me when he doesn't tell me when he's gonna be on iRacing, Terry.
Right.
Okay. I try to if I see him on, I'll hop on. But he doesn't DM me on Instagram.
I know. I'm actually his Cracker Jacks supplier. So I'll
Does he like Cracker Jacks?
I have no idea. I just decided to say that. He likes Cracker Jacks and fucking Kool-Aid. Oh yeah. But Red Bull has struggled to get a number 2 driver that's able to be a teammate and handle that car and put it where they need it to go. And that's the greatest object lesson because, Pierre Gasly went to that car, was teammate for Daniel, failed in that car. They brought up Max.
For Max.
Okay.
For
okay.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Ricardo.
And failed in that car. Okay.
That was we had the Daniel and Daniel.
Right, exactly.
The Red Bull Daniels.
The Red Bull Daniels. So Danny Kvyat, I think is a great driver. I think he just felt the pressure way too much and overperformed himself and fucked up. That's the end of that story. Max came in, boom, took that car. Daniel left. Max became number 1 driver. They put in Pierre. Pierre struggled to get that car to do anything. And he did, and he struggled. And Pierre's not a shit driver. This ain't some piece of shit they found on the street. Okay, this is their number 1 Red Bull fucking development driver that they're going to put in that car. Yep. And that car just chewed him alive. And then they go, well, we got Alex right here, Alex Albon. Look, he's doing really good in the AlphaTauri at the time was the fucking Toro Rosso. He's just like where Gasly was. Like, oh well, that should be in your first clue. They stuck fucking Alex Albon, and he struggled with that car. Yeah. And Albon's got talent. Albon's not a talented hack. He's no Lance Stroll, And boom, now they got Checo in there. Now, let's be honest. Checo is struggling with that car, and he is. Okay.
No, but he's doing better.
Putting it together.
He's putting it. He's getting the pieces together because we both said last week he did exactly what he needed to do.
Exactly.
Fought the Mercedes and kept them off of Max.
Right.
That was perfect.
Right.
And this week he just picked up those 2 penalties. He was just racing.
Yes. Right. And also in this, I think the difference with Checo, like Checo had initial struggles with the car because it is a difficult car. Those struggles are starting to be tamed. I just think, in this race, he realized I need to get up there with Max. I need to do what I'm supposed to do. And I think he overcompensated for that. And he made some bonehead moves that cost him.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to go around the outside of turn 5 wasn't a good idea.
Right. And so that's
you have to expect to get pushed off there.
Right. And that's completely different when you watch Checo struggle in that car, yesterday compared to Alex Albon struggling in that car. Alex Albon is struggling in that car because that car is eating him alive. Checo struggled in that car yesterday because he made stupid mistakes because he's like, I have to be up here and I'm going to push harder than I should have.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So that's the whole thing about these cars. So, all these great drivers, I mean, they have that innate ability to do that. And then sometimes they make mistakes if you want to see Max's mistakes, only thing you need to do is look at Monaco because Max has made many mistakes in Monaco, hitting that curb.
Not this year, but pretty much his entire career prior.
Right. Monaco really, and that's Max, and that is Max, and Max are going to make mistakes. Max made a mistake in Spa a couple of years ago. It happens. Lewis has made mistakes all over the fucking place. Vettel, 4-time world champion. You don't become 4-time world champion because, somehow you were lucky and Jesus decided you were a 4-time world champion. in the fucking German Grand Prix. It was raining. He knew it was raining. He knew he shouldn't have broke that hard. He knew it was going and he felt the pressure and he made a mistake and ran off the road.
Yep. They say that was the moment that Vettel was broken.
Yes, that was the moment Vettel was broken. It was. Not like, 2 weeks before when his Mistress Helga whipped him so much that his ass bled. That didn't break him. That made him stronger.
We know what that big supercar collection is all about.
Yes,
right. To attract mistresses.
Yes, exactly.
Don't lie to us, Seb.
Yes, don't lie to us, Seb.
Hey, before we get out of here,
yes,
I just wanted to ask. We go from this low, medium, downforce environment of the Red Bull Ring over to jolly old England in the high downforce environment of Silverstone. We're gonna crank the spoilers all the way up.
Yes.
Does the Red Bull just keep on chugging?
Keeps on chugging.
Yeah, I think so.
Keeps on chugging. I will call it right now. Max 1. Valtteri 4th. Lewis 3rd. Checo 2nd.
Yeah, there we go. Finally, that Red Bull 1 too.
I will. I will call that right now. At
the home of F1. Okay. Yeah. All right.
I will call it right now.
We'll remember that.
Yeah, because
Verper Hambot. Is that what you just said?
Verper
Hambot. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll throw the wild card, if we're gonna do a wild card, is a Lando.
All right. I don't know. I don't have a good enough understanding of how the arrow on that McLaren is matching up, and if they're gonna really get that mid corner speed through Cops and Maggots and Beckett's like you really need to get good lap times at Silverstone.
Yeah, all that. Yeah. So I'll throw the wild card spoiler is Lando. Wild card spoiler, if possible, is Lando. By messing up the 3-4 for Hamilton and Valtteri, that he might sneak a podium.
Cool.
All right. Sweet. Well, that's it. Fuck faces. Unless we got anything else to talk about.
No, I don't think we do. 2 weeks and
2 weeks.
And then then F1 comes home and we figure out if the Euro Cup comes home.
Exactly. Go England.
Spain. It's fucking good. I hope we get you. I hope we get you guys in the finals, dude.
I'm not
confident. I'm not confident against Italy.
No.
I don't know how you feel about Denmark, but
Denmark's difficult. Denmark's super difficult.
I think Italy's going to be difficult, and I'm not confident in our offense, man. You saw it against Switzerland. We couldn't.
You couldn't. I will say this with England. Their biggest Achilles heel is being overly confident because they've done so well so far. They might bring that into this game and say, well, no problem. It's Denmark. We should be able to get through and it'll be tight, but we'll do it.
Let's not get cocky there, boys.
Right. And that can be their downfall. So I'm hoping not. I really am. I'm hoping Sterling gets 2 goals.
I was going to say it's going to be Sterling to Kane.
Yeah. And honestly, I will say this, Sterling to Kane all the way through right to the final. Then what you're seeing right there is Manchester City's fucking forward setup, because City's going after Kane, something fierce. They want Kane. They want him.
Oh shit. All right.
They want him.
All right.
Because he's done with Spurs. So.
All right.
Well, so the common criminals in Salford are also after Kane, but Kane's a man of dignity and grace, so he'll come to City.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. All right, cool.